Slowly kisses busting by the river.
Welcome to another exciting edition of the $1 Million Peddlers. I'm Papergoy.
And I'm Mr. Magazine.
And we flew off to, what is it, the island of Galapagos, or wherever in the heck it is, where the tortoises are.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Do you have any idea why?
You're going to tell me and them.
That is true. You've heard the story of the tortoise and the hare.
Bugs Bunny?
Yeah, that was actually one of them, yeah.
I remember that.
Where the hare can run fast, but he's got such a lead in the race that he goofs around and goofs around and goofs around, and the tortoise just slowly plods to the finish, and the tortoise wins. Do you have any idea what that means for your eBay business?
I have an idea.
Well, why don't you tell us your idea?
Well, slow and steady wins the race, so I believe that slow and steady would win the race that we have on eBay and selling on eBay, our business and so forth, as far as selling $20 items, $15 items, $10 items, $30 items. We're not, we don't have enough $100 and $1,000 items to win the race, but we have a lot of, $20 ones that'll get us there.
Great video. See you next video. You basically said it all. You absolutely said it all right there. Everybody wants the flash of selling the Rolex. Everybody wants the flash of, hey, I sold a Honus Wagner card. And I'm not saying we wouldn't like to be selling that kind of things. But for most people, that's just not practical.
Right.
You're watching this video, and I hope you get a score. I hope you get the most amazing score and you buy a painting and it turns out it has the Declaration of Independence behind it. I absolutely hope that happens. Odds are it's not going to happen a second time. And that's what it comes down to. We have a video up that you'd like to check out, hopefully, where we talk about our best buys. And if you go through our best buys, if that's what we were relying on, we'd be starving on the streets.
Yeah, true.
Absolutely would be. Sure, you can go out to a sale and pick up a couple of $1,000 item every once in a while, and you pick it up for $1 or $2, or somebody comes into your store and just says, I just want to get rid of this stuff, and sells you a big box of stuff, and down at the bottom is something really, really good that you had no idea was there, and you end up selling it for $1,000. That's gravy.
Yeah.
And it has to be viewed as gravy. The way you're going to make your living is selling the $15 to $20 to $25 items time after time. What's your average ticket?
On Amazon, I think it's close to 20, and eBay it's like 25.
Okay,
but it's an increase from.
I was just going to say that's
years,
up
definitely.
considerably.
Yeah, we definitely push it up a little bit.
And I think my average ticket's like 18 on eBay. My Amazon average ticket with shipping and everything is probably 10 to 12, something like that. But as I've said any number of times, Amazon's where I put the stuff that's not worth listing on eBay, so you would expect that to be a lot lower price.
Sure.
But I do okay for myself as a side job. You do fine with yourself as a as a main gig, and you're picking up $25 less fees, of course, before anybody thinks like, oh my gosh, you're making all this money. Less fees, and you've got a lot more expenses. You've got the warehouse, which if you haven't checked that video out, shameless plug video here, we do give a great tour of the warehouse over here, but we also do in it discuss a lot of the costs, the utility costs, the cost of the property taxes, all that sort of thing, shelving costs. All those costs are figured into there. So, yeah, you've got to move items at $20 to $25 a piece. There's no way you could sell stuff for $8, but there's no way you have enough items that you could sell at $1,000 a piece.
Right.
I mean, we do the Bolo videos. We try to put them up regularly. And, yeah, you've got some high-priced items in there.
Yeah.
But even a lot of the high-priced items, you're not paying $1 for them.
Exactly. True.
You've got some item that sells for $800 and you shelled $450 out for it.
Exactly. Yeah.
You can't make a living doing just that.
Right.
And I think that the lesson that we're trying to teach you over here is if you're watching this, don't be discouraged. We have another video coming up where we say, hey, we all started at 0 as far as inventory count goes, but we also all started at 0 as far as knowledge goes. You know so much more than you did 20 years ago.
Even 2 years ago. Every day I'm learning something or getting better, trying to at least.
Now, one advantage that I have over you, and you have over a lot of other people, is we don't generally, you do a little more than I do, but try to sell into trends. And I know the Auction Professor, a good friend of the channel, talks all the time about trends. I don't worry about trends myself because the demand for a 1897 Harper's Weekly doesn't change by the week.
True. Or the year, maybe.
Right. Either you want to know about William McKinley's run for president or you don't want to know about William McKinley's run for president. It's not like all of a sudden, whoa, you know who's really hot and trending? William McKinley. You do a little more need to worry about it because you do tend to sell some of the newer items than I sell, so you need to worry about it with sports cards.
Yeah.
You do need to worry about it some with the toys.
Comics and toys of new movies coming out and so forth. Yeah, definitely.
So you need to be a little more on top of it than I do. But again, there's not a lot of movement in the stuff that I sell. It's worth what it's worth. I've got to hook you into buying it, more so than a lot of people out there who are selling the hot new things. And certainly a whole different world than if you're selling things like Keurig K-Cups and things like that. That's a whole different world. You can't even compare that to what we do.
Right.
You've got, those are volume businesses, and you got to get the stuff out before it goes bad, basically, because those expiration dates. The William McKinley magazine is going to be a William McKinley magazine 20 years from now, and probably just as much in demand, I might add.
Right. True.
But if you're watching this, don't get discouraged. Slow and steady will have you win the race. And I remember I started 2002, whenever in the heck it was, and I remember selling things for $5 plus shipping.
Yeah.
$5 plus $2 shipping. Because back in the day, $2 shipping could get something to somebody.
Right.
Exactly. So I was selling $7 items, and I was saying, wow, I sold three $7 items and a $3 item today. I'm doing really well. I did $24 plus shipping. I did $45 worth of sales today. Because I was looking at it that, I bought a big suitcase full of stuff at an auction, and I paid $20.
Right.
I pulled 4 items out of there for $5 a piece, and I'm out of the rest of the suitcase.
Yeah.
Times have changed. I wouldn't be selling those $5 items now. I would lot them all together and just wholesale them out.
Or walk by them at an auction. Not even.
Yeah, I wouldn't even buy now, but yeah. I'm more talking about the garage full of items that I bought back in 2001 that are still sitting out in the garage.
I got a garage like that too. A storage shed. Yeah.
And I know we did get a lot of positive feedback on the warehouse tour, and I've promised to a couple of people when the weather breaks, I'm going to end up doing a tour of my garage. Not nearly as much fun as your warehouse by any means whatsoever, but I don't know what's out there. I bought this stuff many, many years ago. Maybe we'll have you be the narrator on this, and you'll probably you'll have this look of, why did you buy this garbage?
It'll be fun. Yeah.
Well, it'll be fun until the boxes fall over on top of you, which will be good content, by the way. But slow and steady really is the way to go. It's the way to go with building your listings, because again, as we talked on Primetime's show when we were on there live, he's always said, list one more item than you sell. If you do that every single day, you will grow. Absolutely true. And you are not going to find, unfortunately, I hate to break this to you, you're not going to find enough high quality items to make a living out of it. Most people. And if you do, I do know a couple of people, I've bought from the one gentleman before who does it with comic books. He basically is a broker, for lack of a better way to put it, where, I would call him up and say, hey, I want this, and it's a $10,000 comic book, let's say, and he'll ask around a few people he knows and say, hey, I can get it to you for $10,200. And, yeah, okay, I'll take that, and I buy it from him. Meanwhile, he's kind of brokered the deal, and he gets it from the other guy at $9,800, $9,800. So he makes $400 for making a couple of phone calls and knowing where the bodies are buried, for lack of a better way to put it.
True.
He knows everything out there. Good business plan for him, works well for him, but how many people, that's taken him years and years and years. He's put on conventions. He knows every dealer out there. He's really big on the East Coast. You starting out, I can't do that. No. You can't do that.
No.
And, Doesn't mean that necessarily somebody doesn't contact you through the website and it happens to be something I have and you, hey, do you have? And you end up,
Right.
flipping it and making $1 or $2 off it. But where are you going? Where are you going making $1 or $2
Yeah.
off of it?
Yeah.
Not gonna pay your bills making $1 or $2 here or there.
Yeah, I mean, you can only sell what you have the opportunity to purchase. For example, and for 30 years I've been doing this, I've come across 2 Mantle Tops rookies. That's it. And I couldn't even buy them then years ago, and now they're out of sight. But even then they wanted more than they were worth, and I've never sold one because I never had the opportunity.
Right. And yeah, you can. I guess the other. We'll just use Mantle as an example. Obviously, at this point, you want to buy it graded. You want to sell it graded.
Yeah.
Not that I don't think there's any credible fakes out there, but you never know.
Right.
You're always better off in that case having it graded, which we also have a video coming out about, talking about when you should grade. In a card like that, you definitely should grade because you have the satisfaction of knowing it's real.
Right.
And before you ask somebody to shell out $25,000, they have to be certain that it's real, or $50,000 or
Exactly.
whatever the price happens to be on them now.
Yeah.
But let's just say that you do have the opportunity to buy one. I've not looked at the market. I know you have. What's a 5.0?
Man, I gotta think it's like 50 grand now. I know ones are like over 10,000 or something like that. Which ones were like 1,000, back then, or 2,000, that poor. I think I looked at the 2 that I saw. They were like good condition. They wanted 5,000 back then when they were worth probably 4,000 to 5,000. So I couldn't have made money buying them at the retail price. But now they're probably worth 20,000 or whatever. So it's crazy.
So you go and you buy a 5 or whatever grade you can get for $50,000. Number one, you're out $50,000. There isn't anybody in the world, unless they absolutely need money very, very quick, or there's something wrong with the item. In other words, they don't have ownership of it and they're trying to flip it to you.
Yeah.
There's nobody in the world that's going to sell that for $20,000, because why would you?
Yeah, exactly.
So they sell it to you for $48,500 just because they want to give you a little bit of a deal.
Yeah.
What happens if the market crashes? You're out $48,500 at that point.
Exactly.
And I don't know how many people out there follow the card market, but there was a bit of a scandal about a year and a half ago where some graded cards were found to have been trimmed. And it's absolutely amazing the amount of research that went into this. Basically, a lot of people will sit there and look at cards, and they'll find like a print dot that was here, and they'll see that it was sold
Yeah.
as a 6.0 with a bad corner, and then they'll see the exact same card with the exact same print dot here and exact same imperfection on the back and an 8.0 because it had gotten trimmed and regraded.
Yeah.
So people were buying cards with some flaws, trimming them just enough, and getting them regraded. You pick up that Mantle card as a 5.0, and then all of a sudden it gets outed
Yeah.
as something that was trimmed. And it was really only supposed to be a 3.0, and now it's altered trimmed.
Yeah.
You're out you're not out your
You're out a lot of
48,500
money.
because it still has some value, but you're out a lot of money. That's a lot of money to risk
Yeah.
on something like that without a huge upside. Unless of course you're going to hold on to it for years and hope that the market doesn't tank, or if it does tank, it comes back up, et cetera, et cetera. How many magazines can you buy for $48,500?
48,500. Probably. Hopefully. I can.
What are the odds that all 48,500 magazines that you buy are going to go down in value, are going to be potentially altered, are going to
Zilch.
zero?
Zilch,
Exactly. A lot more work, but a lot less risk.
Yeah.
And if you take those 48,500 magazines and you list them at $20 a piece, we'll make the math easy. We'll say 50,000 magazines at $20 a piece. What are we at?
1 million.
$1 million.
You'd be $1 million peddler.
Indeed, I would be. So you'd be up at $1 million right there. It takes a lot longer to sell, but you'd be at $1 million right there doing the slow and steady pace, paying $1, selling them for 20, less your fees, et cetera, building them up, an item, couple of extra items every single day. It can be done. Slow and steady will win the race absolutely every single time. So hopefully that helps you a little bit over there, gives you a little bit of guidance on what you should be thinking. There are a lot of people out there putting videos out with a lot of flash, showing the brand new car they bought and the brand new house they bought and all the jewelry they bought just because they're doing very little work to make the money. I don't buy it. You'd have to get incredibly lucky to be able to do it, and then it's probably just a one-off. You do buy the rare piece of art that's worth $40 million and you pay $20 for it at a garage sale. Does it happen? It does. Don't bank on it happening. Bank on being the slow and steady. Bank on building a good business over time. Keep your positives up. Keep listing items. Do good customer service. And in the end, you too can be $1 million peddler. We'll see you next video. Do comment down below if you could. We do answer all comments. And we will see you next video.
Take care. Bye-bye.